Heck yeah. Oh my goodness, Clay. Last week I shared Clay and I were in South Florida chasing turkeys and hogs. Within 2 days, we had a nice gobbler and hog down, but Clay and I still had more time to hunt. This week, I'll share another turkey hunt from that trip and the strategies I use to put more fresh turkey meat in the freezer.
Are you kidding me?
Man, was that beautiful. I believe the turkey season in South Florida is the earliest in the United States. There are 5 subspecies of wild turkeys in the United States. Easterns range throughout most of the eastern states, Merriams and Rios throughout the western portion of our country. There's a small pocket of Goulds in the southwest, and Osceolas in the southern part of Florida. I've enjoyed hunting Osceola turkeys at the La Jamaica Ranch in South Florida for years. It's great to get down there, chase some turkeys, get some fresh meat before seasons open where eastern turkeys range. I couldn't be happier, to tell you the truth.
Me either.
Just the way it worked out.
Oh, yeah.
Even though there are several subspecies of wild turkey and the habitat varies significantly throughout their range, one thing's a constant. Reading turkey sign, making observations while you're hunting, and applying that to the current hunting situation is an effective technique no matter where you chase turkeys. Not long after arriving at the ranch, I found fresh turkey sign in the sand. This sign was created by Tom strutting and dragging the wing feathers in the sand.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Reconics, Eagle Seed, Winchester, Lacrosse Footwear, Morel Targets, Hoyman, Hooks Custom Calls, Summit Tree Stands, RTP Outdoors, Yamaha, Fourth Arrow, Onyx Hunt, Scorpion Venom Archery, Bloodsport Arrows, Code Blue, Decode, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
The La Jamaica is a working cattle ranch. It has lots of large pastures and a great interior road system. They do rotational grazing, so pastures vary between low, medium, and tall vegetation, which is perfect for turkey nesting and brooding habitat. The pastures that have short forage and the wide sandy roads are perfect places for gobblers to strut. Clay and I used this information the first day to set up along a strut zone and had an encounter with a large Osceola. The Tom had several hens with him and never closed a distance or responded to our calls. Seeing the large group of hens together indicated it was early in the turkey breeding season and many hens probably weren't breeding yet. Decoys should be used to communicate a specific message to Toms, and based on the information we had, I decided that a single hen may communicate to a Tom that she was ready to breed and therefore be a great attractant. During the second morning of our hunt, I set out a single Avian X hen decoy. That setup paired with calling communicated a very effective message. I still had another tag in my pocket. The next day was rainy, so we basically scouted during the day and then hog hunted that afternoon. But while hog hunting, Clay heard a Tom gobble from the roost. We marked our location and the location we thought the gobble came from on Onyx so we could start planning our strategy for the next morning. After studying the map, I believed the Tom would fly down and feed and strut in a pasture to the west. So Clay and I planned to find a location between that pasture and where we thought the Tom was roosted. I always prefer being in the line of travel a Tom prefers to go rather than trying to call him to a different location. We did not hear any hens by the Tom, so I assumed the Tom was by himself. Given that, we decided our setup would be an avian X-Jake with an aggressive head overlooking a hen, hoping that Tom would come down, see the setup, and come in and challenge the Jake that was in his range.
Clay and I were stalking hogs yesterday afternoon, and at sunset we heard a Tom gobble from the roost somewhere over here. So we worked our way through the swamp. We've never been in here. It's really dry, so we could walk through real easy. He's already gobbled about 3 times off the limb. Our avians are out there about 20 yards. Because it's so dry, this normally wet area is low vegetation, perfect strut area. I'm gonna let him talk on the limb a while, give him just a few tree yelps, let him know something's in the area, hit the ground, then try to bring him in. I see him.
Even though I didn't tag that Tom, I made several important observations. As the Tom approached, he clearly saw the decoys, but swung around through the brush on the side with the HDR Jake. If you look closely, you can tell this Tom keeps a large oak and some palmettos between him and the Jake. The Tom gobbled, apparently trying to pull the hen to him, but then drifted off the way he came. I interpreted the Tom's behavior that he was a subordinate. He may have been whipped recently. In either case, he didn't want to mess with that Jake. Based on this observation, the following morning, I swapped heads on my Jake decoy from the aggressive look to one that's more submissive. That's a feature I really like about these decoys.
There was one. Where at? Somewhere back in there. Pretty far. Pretty far on that tree line. Yeah, no, I think from past the tree line. Unless your stomach just ground. No. Yeah, it was gone. It is a beautiful morning in South Florida. This is the first morning since Clay and I have been here that's broken clear. A little bit of fog, but the other morning's been cloudy, really high humidity. humidity, it's gonna be an awesome day. And given those conditions, as you would expect, there's some toms gobbling on the tree line, probably 400 plus yards away. So we've been through this area and seen birds on this road and going to a little pond right behind us. So yesterday, thinking ahead, we come in here, picked the spot to put our decoys, made a little blind, put some palmettos behind me, so my outline isn't showing up, plays against a big tree, got a little bit of grass in front of us. Decoys are out there 30 yards, got a jake and a hen, because we think there's at least 4 toms in this area and some jakes, so that jake tending a hen may be the perfect setup to get those toms to come in close. This is going to be a fun hunt. Yeah, they're gobbling on the limb, man. I'm not calling because we know we've got a good setup. We think they're coming this way. I want to let them get on the ground, see which way they're going to go. Then I may give a yelp or two, but not much until they get in close. I don't think they have hens with them because they're all yapping at each other. That sounds like it's on the other side timberline. Oh, that didn't. Oh, he's on the berm. I see him. He's strutting on the berm. Don't move. He's coming up the berm towards the decoys. He's a good bird. He goes behind the hill. I'm gonna get my gun down. He's in the weeds, the tall weeds. Are you on him? Do you see him, Clay?
Yeah, I see him.
Tell me when his head's down enough, I can get my gun down.
Are you kidding me?
Man, was that beautiful. I'm talking, it's just, that was so stunning. The sun coming through the fan. My goodness, it was just, those birds were roosted. We heard some toms roosted all the way in the far timberline. And some drifted off this way. Just one come straight up, just did a little call, come straight up. Actually got here quicker than I thought. My gun was still up. I had to move it down when we went below the ditch, and man, that full fan, that head colored up. You can tell I'm still excited. Locked on that Jake decoy. We set up with the Jake, looking at the hen. I mean, he locked on the Jake, stood right there. There might be a pellet in my Jake. I saw it rumble just a little bit, but I was watching the show, and he stuck his head up, and it was just perfect. Took the shot, and I mean, man, second turkey down in Florida. Man, I'm filming clay now and hog hunting. This is awesome, and it's a beautiful setup. You dream about this. I don't even know what time it is, but we're
Early, that's for sure.
10, 20 minutes into the hunt. Heard him gobbling on the roost. This is as classic a turkey hunt as I have. I mean, man. Man, you wanna go check out what we got?
Take a look at that.
Heck yeah. Oh my goodness, Clay.
Got some hooks on him.
You knew that was the man walking up, but what you didn't know was that.
Holy cow.
That is a man. Oh, I mean it. Check that out.
What a thrilling hunt. I was glad to fill my second tag and have more turkey meat for the cooler. As I reflect on that hunt, there are several lessons I'd like to share. Reading turkey sign and behavior and understanding the current phase of the breeding season is important to being a successful turkey hunter. By watching a tom's response to my decoy setup one day, I made the decision to swap out the Jake's head, put a more submissive looking head on, put it out the next day, and it was obvious that tom came right in. In big pastures, which is common in Osceola habitat, if you call without decoys, oftentimes the toms will come in 70, 80, 100 yards, look, not see that hen, and drift off. So we put a hen over here, looking away so a tom would want to swing around, and the magic is knowing there's some mature birds in this area, putting a Jake looking at the hen. Boy, they can't stand that. You get in a big tom's range, put a Jake overlooking a hen, he's gonna come in, and this morning, exactly what we thought, rather than going to the hen, he comes to the Jake. That's a great setup, especially for this time of season. First week of season here in South Florida, the tom didn't show any sign of breeding yet, hadn't wore off feathers off the bottom, but he's been strutting a lot, really working on that dominance, coming right to the intruder. Decoying strategies change throughout the season. Those changes are primarily based on the dominance of the bird you're working and the stage of the breeding season. That was the case during this trip, as a few days later, Clay set up on some toms that sounded much more aggressive. So we pulled out the aggressive head, put it on our Jake decoy, and I can't wait to share those results with you next week. After Clay tagged a nice tom, I did some spot and stock hunting. Woo, it was fun, and I'll share that also next week. If you would like to chase Osceolas in South Florida at the La Jamaica Ranch, contact John Horn, the ranch's wildlife manager, and start planning your turkey hunt. It seems we're experiencing unpredictable conditions around the world. Aren't we all thankful that one thing is a known and will never change? As we enter the Easter season, we know that Christ died and rose again. He is our hope, He's our rock, and we can count on that every day. Whether you're getting ready for a turkey hunt or do some habitat improvement projects, we've got playlists about both subjects on our YouTube channel. Turkey season's underway in a lot of states, but some states still got a little snow on the ground. No matter where you live, take time to get outside and enjoy creation, but more importantly, take time every day to be quiet and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.
Man, you thought you were gonna have to sit all day today.
To be honest, I got up and prayed this morning. I was just literally,
Yeah.
Lord, bless us with this hunt today.
Yeah.
Let me sit there. We heard several turkeys back in there.
There's a pile of them back in there, and there's more even further back.
Yeah.